BWWM relationships are generally either fetishized or demonized. On one end of the spectrum, there's this notion that Black women are only seen as desirable to white men as nothing more than a sexual object or a sexual conquest. And I have certainly been victimized by this narrative. I have encountered white men who were under the impression that I was willing to do things that I was not comfortable doing because they were under this impression that all Black women are, let's say, more exploratory in the bedroom. And then, of course, there is the other notion that white men do not even see Black women as desirable in any way, shape, or form. And then, of course, there is the narrative that I guess falls somewhere in between, that Black women who choose to enter into an intimate relationship with a white man are just that white man's bed wench. As a Black woman who has dated my fair share of white men, I have often received the question of, what is it like? What is intimacy like with white men? It seems to be this narrative that white men cannot make waves in the bedroom. There's this idea that their waters are more stagnant. I just want to start off by answering the question that I'm sure brought you here in the first place, and that question is it good? And I think you know what it is. In my experience, and my personal experience, yes, it is good. Oh my gosh, I feel so dirty. I'm a middle school teacher, you all, so I feel awful right now. But, you know, it is what it is. And this brings me to my next point, or to the next question that I have received time and time again, which is it different with white men? Yes, it is different. Like the, let's see, the physiology and the anatomy is not different, but the feeling and the experience itself, yeah, I think that there are differences. One of the most common complaints or gripes that I have heard Black women voice when it comes to their experiences with dating white men is that a lot of Black women feel as if white men can be a bit too passive at times. To that, I also just want to add that I want to make sure that you are recognizing passivity as passivity. Like, I don't want you to think that a white man, or really any man, is being passive when he's being generous and delicate and gentle with you. I don't want you to take that as just being passive. Remember, if a guy is being aggressive and being a jerk and being rough and rude with you, that doesn't make him more direct. That doesn't make him more masculine. That doesn't make him any more of a man. He may just be but from my personal experience when it comes to intimacy, I have found that that is an area where, at least again, in my opinion and my experience, white men have not faltered. In fact, this seems like an area where many of them feel a lot of confidence, and that passivity that you see in more public affairs tends to fall by the wayside in private affairs and private matters. There seems to be more of a sense of open-mindedness and fluidity. And I've talked about this before, and this being one of the reasons why I have gravitated towards white men more than men of any other race. When it comes to white men, many of them seem to be a bit more open when it comes to just like gender constructs, gender roles, and their sexuality. And when it comes to sexuality, a person who is fluid and who is open can be someone who makes for a great partner in intimacy, because they are probably much more likely to be communicative as well. And communication is so key in intimacy. I found that that oftentimes also leads the door open for more pleasure to be experienced on both ends. And also, when there is an openness an eagerness, like an ability and a desire to try things when it comes to intimacy, I feel that that also makes it more fun because that kind of takes off some of the pressure to perform. If there's only a few things that you are comfortable to do, if you're not open-minded, if you're a little bit narrow-minded in what you're willing to do, then you have to do those things right. If you are playful and if you are open, if one thing doesn't work out for you, if one thing is not making your boat float, then you have more options available to you. And also, when there is less of this pressure to perform and there's more communication and more of an open-minded spirit when it comes to intimacy, it's also a lot easier to just let go. And so much of what makes intimacy pleasurable, especially for women, I mean men as well, for all people honestly, for women, being able to let go really allows you to tap into your feminine nature, your feminine energy, your feminine essence, and really receive your partner and to just really enjoy the experience. If you are a Black woman, and yes, if you are a curvaceous, delectable, juicy Black woman, despite what anyone says, despite what the haters have to say, yes, a white man can handle you. And honestly, I hate that whole concept. Like, I hate that statement because I hate this notion that you have to be handled as if you are some sort of zoo creature. You are not a zoo creature. You are a woman, and you deserve to be treated with love and kindness and tenderness and delicacy. When it comes to all matters relating to intimacy, intimacy with anyone is as good as the intimacy that you share between yourself and that person. It is so important to have open, honest communication between yourself and between anyone that you are choosing to have a sexual relationship with. Especially Black women, we have just been conditioned to not advocate for ourselves and to not seek pleasure. To seek too much pleasure has oftentimes led us to be criticized for being too masculine. Our sexuality has been stripped from us. Our sexuality has also been exploited and over-exaggerated. So much has happened to the Black woman's sexuality. And I just think it is so important that as Black women, you really take ownership of your sexuality, of your sexual needs, of all of your intimacy needs. You have to take ownership of that, and you have to protect that and make that be something that is valuable to you so that it will also be valuable to whoever you choose to enter into an intimate relationship with. And do not get me wrong, I am a sex positive person, but before I am a sex positive person, I am a protect yourself person. And I say that to say, please, 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 ladies, especially my Black women, please, please be mindful, be careful, be selective about who you choose to share your body with, and not just your body. It's not even just the physical act itself that you are being selective about. It is the energy that you transmit to someone else when your bodies connect. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you've enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.